Hello world, and ladies and gentlemen out there of the Tailosive network. Today I wanted to talk about the deep future for what is in store when it comes to Tailosive and what the content could be. And what I mean by deep future is like things that we can't plan or foresee of right now. So if, let's say for instance, some of you out there were to ask me, Drew, where do you see Tailosive in a year? Or maybe we'll stretch it to, where do you see Tailosive in 2 years? Pretty much I can confidently say we'll probably still be in this office. I'll likely in a year still be the only person who works at Tailosive full-time unless some miraculous situations turn out financially and we have a lot more money to expand. But for right now, I've found a pretty good groove and I'm pretty happy with my workflow right now. So I'm not interested in hiring anyone anytime soon to join the crew. So I imagine 1 year from today, we'll probably still be in this office unless, of course, life happens, things come up and I have to move for some reason. Things are subject to change. But for the most part, in a year, I still think we'll be right here. I'll still be uploading videos to all the channels that I'm currently uploading to, unless of course something goes bad. But I want to talk more deeply about like, okay, Drew, where do you see Tailosive in 5 years? Okay, that's a lot further away. At that point, I'll be 25 years old, as my birthday's just around the corner. But yeah, I would still be 25 in 5 years. And if you were to ask me where I would be in half a decade, I don't think I could confidently say we would still be here, because there's a lot of things and a lot of planning I'm talking about with Louise about life and where things may end up. And we've kind of both come to the conclusion that it's fairly plausible that we may move someday. Definitely not anytime soon, but there are a lot of disadvantages to running a business in California, as well as Louise having a very adventurous spirit who loves exploring and loves seeing new places. And that by no means would mean that Tailosive is ending. It just means that it would adapt quite heavily. So if we moved away, we would either have to find a house or an office space in wherever we're moving to, which could very possibly be out of state. And we're looking at a lot of different places right now. And again, this is not something we're talking about within the next year, or probably even the next 2 years. I bet 2 years from the upload of this video, it's possible we'll still be right here in this office and living in the house we're living in. But more in the deep future of around 5 years, and after that, there's my personal families moving around the country and going to different places as all the kids grow up. And there's better places that we can see in the future for cost of living and taxes and things like that, that we're analyzing right now, just anticipating to make these big decisions in the long run. And it's very possible that when that happens, a lot of very difficult and a lot of very sad discussions will take place. I know some of you out there, you know, this doesn't really affect you and you're kind of like, well, Drew, I don't care where you work. Big whoop. You might have a different office someday. Who cares? But I want to explain to a lot of you that that may mean anyone who has been involved in Tailosive in the past or is currently involved in Tailosive content, whether it be movie reviews with Dan or with the main channel with Wyatt, people that have come to be friends of mine and people I'm very, very close to and I love hanging out with, they likely, given they're not employees of Tailosive and they're just my friends and I like hanging out with them and they're happy to be in stuff and they're sometimes happy to make content, it's very likely that if I moved away someday that they probably wouldn't be able to come along with me. If I could take them along with me, I definitely would, but carrying a friend with you as you move out of state or you move across the country is a huge financial burden, and it's also a huge emotional and social burden for that person to be like, hey, I want you to rearrange your life, I want you to change your life goals and plans just so that we can keep hanging out. There's a pretty good chance that on that day, whenever it will be, I don't know exactly when, but if I ever move away, most likely Wyatt and Dan would not be able to come along with me, and that would be a very, very difficult thing for me, as you guys love them and you guys have a lot of support for not just Wyatt and Dan, but all the people who have been involved in Tailosive in the past, and you love seeing different people come in and out of my life and watching them grow and watching them learn, and you get to know them better over time. But this topic kind of popped up during a Tailosive Tech live stream where people were asking about different roles and, you know, like what does Wyatt do and what does Dan do, or how's the situation at Tailosive work, to the point that I thought I should just make a vlog to clarify. I right now am kind of the heart and brain at Tailosive. As the founder, it means that wherever I go is kind of where Tailosive goes, and that can mean that a lot of very, very important people to Tailosive probably haven't even been met yet, and they may not even be near me right now. They could be on the other side of the world, potentially. They could be in different parts of the country. You could be watching this person who might end up being pivotal role member of Tailosive someday. We just don't know. There's so much that the future has in store for us. progress. But the key thing I wanted to get across with you guys in today's vlog is that all of my friends and all of the people involved at Tailosive, most of them are pretty much going to be temporary for the stage of life I'm in. And while that's very sad to imagine, a day where I decide, okay, we found a better place, I want to be closer to family, or I want to start a new adventure, as my wife loves traveling and she wants to live in different places, as well as my family moving to different parts of the country, and there's not so much attachment to the Butte County area anymore, that means that I'm gonna have to make some really difficult decisions of who I'm gonna spend my life with. And while you guys know Wyatt and Dan as internet personalities, and you love them because they're funny or they're in shorts or you just like their personality, I'll try to express to you that the emotion of being actual friends with them is greater than that of just being a fan. But on top of that, saying goodbye to them someday, or goodbye to people that played a huge role in your past and were there for you for long portions of your life, that's going to be really hard. In fact, I've already started shedding tears about just the idea of saying goodbye to some of these people that I'm used to seeing regularly. And it's not that it's anywhere close. Like I said, I still think we're going to be here in 1 to 2 years is very much expected. Perhaps even 3. Again, I don't know. We don't really have a set timeline on when we plan on moving away. I'm just saying that me and Louise, who are going to stick together, that's, I guess, one member of Tailosive that you can expect to stick around. We don't plan on sticking in Butte County forever. And I just thought I would talk about it today rather than surprise you with it one day. And hopefully a lot of you guys can watch this and think, okay, so I like the people at Tailosive, or I like the friends Drew has that he's bringing on the channel here and there, but I have to remember they might not always be here. Different things happen, different walks of life open up, and perhaps one of my friends will move away before I do, and then they won't be a part of Tailosive anymore. So there's a lot of uncertainty the future holds, and I'm not trying to say this just to be, oh, sad. All I'm trying to say is, let's make the most with the time we have. Let's understand that not everything is set in stone, and, you know, there's even the possibility that I could die, you know, at any day. This is getting real deep. When I titled this vlog Deep Future, I bet you weren't expecting this type of deep. But at this moment, if I died, basically Tailosive would die with me. Or if something popped up and I wasn't able to make videos anymore, like let's say some freak accident happened and I was blind or I was deaf, I would have to live my life very, very differently. And a lot of the time I'm thinking about how, you know, every heartbeat is another heartbeat closer to your last. And every year you pass your death day and you don't know when it is. And also, no one actually knows when they're middle-aged because no one knows when their time has come. And a lot of this retrospect doesn't have to be as sad as death. A lot of it could be when big changes are coming to Tailosive, or when different things are going to come up in the future that result in the YouTube network completely changing and not being the same again. So if you like the way things are and you appreciate them, really do hold on to them, because similar to me being a fan of a lot of streamers out there or channels out there that have flat out ended, and I know a lot of you think, oh, Drew, you're being crazy. Why are you talking about you dying? When I was young and I first discovered YouTube, my favorite YouTuber was Ed Gould, who was an animator for Ed's World. And only a couple of years after I started watching him, he got leukemia and passed away. And also, in even more recent history, I've had live streamers that I love watching decide that they can't do this anymore and they have to quit and they don't become a channel anymore. There was a tech channel that I used to enjoy watching a long, long time ago for its comedy and its humor that I really appreciated. And now that tech channel decided that he couldn't take the hate comments and he couldn't take the life of a YouTuber, and he quit doing YouTube. So I just want to remind everyone of the fragility of a lot of YouTubers and streamers out there. Not that I'm imagining myself quitting or that I'll just get sick of YouTube one day and quit. Personally, if all things go well, I anticipate on working on YouTube and Twitch or whatever site I can reach you guys on, probably for the rest of my life. Like, I don't want to retire. I just want to keep working as long as I can because I enjoy it and I appreciate the creative aspects. But the setting and the people that surround Tailosive are very much subject to change, and you may see a lot of those changes in the future. And I just wanted to warn you about it today because I think a lot of people just kind of take for granted, oh, that's Tailosive, that's how the office is, those are the people involved, and that's how it's going to be. It could very much change. A lot could change in just a couple years. But what I can promise you won't change is my diligence, my commitment to the job, and my passion of creating videos and live streaming as much as possible, 7 days a week, and trying to make videos in advance for when I go on trips or when I move. I care about you guys and I want to keep doing this, but also don't take for granted the situation we're in right now because it may not always be this way. Anywho, sorry if that brought some sad emotions to you, but that was just what's on my heart, and oftentimes the vlog is just talking about what's on my mind and my heart, so I thought I would share it with you. Anywho, thank you guys for watching. I hope you have an excellent day. Take care.